All right, 31 March 2022, first day on the Appalachian Trail. At the Amicalola Falls behind me. On the approach trail, started at 10:15 this morning. Lots and lots of emotions, excitement, nervousness, a little bit of relief, a little bit of stress, just all over the place, starting a new journey. But I want to say thank you to my mom and stepdad for driving me down here, and their unwavering support through everything that I do. My family, my dad, who used to take me hiking a lot when I was young. I had some great trips in the White Mountains, and it's probably a big reason why I'm doing this. My sister, all her support getting ready for this, doing a bunch of research with me, history along the trail that I'll be sharing. My brother driving down from Williamstown last Friday to say goodbye, 2.5 hours, just to hang out for 2 hours and drive all the way back with his stepdaughter Lily. Hey Lily. Friends that have been super supportive. I watched a video with my friend Mallory. When was that? Last November, December time frame, and the guy was like, truth you didn't know about the trail or something like that. And one of them was that people are going to say, you can't do that, you can't walk to Maine. And honestly, no one, not a single person has said that to me. Everybody's been super supportive. All of my family, all of my friends, so thank you for that. Thank you to my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Dave for letting me stay with them and prep for the trail after separating from the Air Force. And just everybody. I appreciate everything. So I'll keep y'all posted. We're going to knock out this approach trail and see what we're going to do from there. Just made it up the stairs. I was texting with my trivia team on the way up when I was taking breaks because it's rough. I did it last fall, and I can remember when I was climbing last fall, I was like, okay, next time I see these stairs, I'm gonna be ready. And I wasn't. Whew! 600 stairs. It's rough. But yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to my trivia team, our trivia team, but more importantly, my friends, Kelly, Todd, Joyce, Amanda, Katie, and Colleen. We're on some flat ground now, thankfully. We've only just begun. It's a nice change. Some ridge walking. But yeah, it's starting to sink in. On the AT, officially. Headed to Maine. Actually, that's not even true. I'm on the approach trail. Not even on the AT yet. But we're still headed to Maine. So that's dope. Good morning. Coming to you from the top of Springer Mountain, the official southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail. We got a picture, plaque right here. Hopefully you're able to see that. Got here late yesterday afternoon and decided just to stay here for the night. I'm going to show you the other plaque down here on the ground and the first white blaze. Pretty stinking cool. And then just shortly down the trail on a tree is your second white blaze. And then I'm done with blazes. I won't show you anymore. And hopefully you can see it because I'm turning my camera around. But I'll check later, obviously, before I post it. Yeah, so good first night, slept pretty good. It was a little cold outside of the bag, and the sleeping bag was great. The idea this morning was I was going to give you the story of the creation of the Appalachian Trail on the top of Springer Mountain. Unfortunately, I have some quotes and things that I want to include in the story, and I can't get my notes to download, so I'm gonna have to figure that out and give you guys the story along the trail. I felt like it was only fitting to start with the story of the creation of the Appalachian Trail, and then we'll move forward from there, talk about some people, places, events that took place along the Appalachian Trail while I'm hiking. Had a good first night, slept pretty well. My first night in my 20-degree bag rather than my 30-degree bag, and I mean, it was pretty warm. It was the Sidewinder. You guys saw my gear video, so I thought it was pretty comfortable. But then I'm gonna head back to camp, pack up, and see if I can't get this story to download, and then I'll give it to you guys today along the way. It's kind of long, one of the longer ones that I have to share, but it's interesting. I mean, if you're interested in the Appalachian Trail, it will interest you. So yeah, I'll be talking to you guys later. Coming down Springer Mountain at the gap where the trailhead parking lot is, there's a gentleman down there doing a little bit of trail magic and also taking names as people come through. He was a HCC volunteer, so I don't know if they're just checking on us or if it was for his own records. But I got some Capri Sun, which was awesome. So for a bit of trail magic, thank you for that. His trail name was Squid something, I don't remember, sorry. But he also said that they're filming a sequel to the movie A Walk in the Woods, which is based off of the Brian Bryson book on his adventure walking the Appalachian Trail. So I guess just shortly up here at the next shelter, there might be a film crew, or there was. So anyways, that's kind of cool. He put some rocks on the ground for mile 1, which is pretty funny. You will see that as we're hiking along. There'll be rocks typically for mile like 100, 200, 500, 1,000, etc. So to see the mile 1 was kind of funny. But let's start to the morning. Last time I was on trail, I did not go to the falls, so I'm gonna check it out this time. I'll probably post up, have some lunch here, hydrate, and then continue on to Hawk Mountain Shelter. I don't know if I'm gonna stay there or not tonight, but that's my first checkpoint of the day, if not termination point. But I'll show you guys the falls when I get there. So when I hiked this section last fall, I was thinking, I bet the seesaw is down there that I've recognized from other people's videos. And it is, but I'm not going today. But that's where it is, in case you want to go. Mckay originally suggested a long-distance trail or a through hike in 1921. His idea along the trail was these self-owning community camps where people could live and eat and grow their own vegetables and just hang out with like-minded people. In 1921, he published a paper about his idea for the Appalachian Trail and what he thought it should look like. I'm going to read you some information that I wrote down. It's too much for me to memorize. So the title of the paper is An Appalachian Trail, a Project in Regional Planning, published in the Journal of the American Institute of Architects, in which he stated the following. Something has been going on in this country during the past few strenuous years, which, in the din of war and general upheaval, has been somewhat lost from the public mind. It is the slow, quiet development of a special type of community, the recreation camp. It is something neither urban nor rural. It escapes the hecticness of life. It escapes the hecticness of one, the loneliness of the other. So as I was doing research for this story and reading about him and his thoughts and his vision for the Appalachian Trail, I couldn't help but think about the parallels of what was going on back then, post-World War I, not quite in the Depression yet, but within the era of the Industrial Revolution, and then what's going on or has been going on since 2019 with the coronavirus. And it seems like both of these types of situations pushed people back into nature, and it's definitely refreshing and cleansing being out here. So it seems timeless. So back to Mckay. Through his article and with the help of a New York City newspaper columnist, he was able to stir up enough attention and interest and establish an Appalachian Trail Conference in Washington, D.C. in 1925. This conference ultimately grew into the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, which we all know and love. So the conference was a success, and he opened up, with the help of volunteers, the first 18 miles of trail in New York at Bear Mountain all the way to the hamlet of Ardennes. Over the next half a dozen years, the trail made little progress. The northern states were able to combine some existing trails and blaze some new ones. However, in the southern states, there was little to no progress made. Arthur Perkins, a retired judge from Connecticut, took over the project in the late 1920s. He recruited a Washington lawyer named Myron Avery, and with the help of some enthusiasts in Northern Virginia and West Virginia, that section of the trail was mapped. As momentum for the trail picked up, Perkins and Avery's vision for the trail began to clash, and Perkins left, leaving Avery as the primary trail master and heir to the continuous walking path, which was opened on August 14th, 1937. However, disaster was going to strike. The New England hurricane of 1938, aka the Great New England Hurricane, aka the Long Island Express Hurricane, made landfall on September 21st. And I have some stats for you guys. So it had estimated to have killed 682 people, damaged or destroyed 57,000 homes, totaling $306 million in damage, which is equivalent to $4.7 billion in today's money. Over 35% of New England's forests were destroyed. In all, over 2.7 billion board feet of trees fell, of which 1.6 billion was recovered and used. After this incident, the trail was pretty much all but closed. And then to add insult to injury, Congress approved the extension to the Blue Ridge Parkway, which displaced 120 miles of the trail. Also during this time period, the prospects of the war in Europe and America's eventual entrance into it also caused attention to be shifted to other areas. In 1948, a man by the name of Earl Schaefer, trail name The Crazy One, recorded the first known through hike of the Appalachian Trail, which he stated when asked why he did it, to walk the war out of my system. His hike started at Mount Oglethorpe. Not sure if I said that right. At that time, it was the southern terminus in Georgia. He is what we would now call, he was what we would now call an ultralight hiker. All he brought with him was his issued army boots and issued rucksack. He didn't have a tent and he didn't have a stove. He averaged 17 miles per day and reached Mount Katahdin in 124 days. Although he wasn't outwardly believed by the Appalachian Trail Conference, the public really got a kick out of this story, and he published Walking with Spring, detailing his northbound hike. In 1951, although never officially closed, the trail was opened back up. Popularity for the trail continued to grow through the 1950s and the 1960s. However, external developments started encroaching on the pathway. In 1968, their efforts paid off when Lyndon B. Johnson signed the National Trail Systems Act into law. However, even with that signing, it wouldn't be for another 46 years that all of the trail was formally protected, save about 10 miles. So, the ATC was established in 1925 and officially opened in 1937, and then was reopened in 1951. In 1968, it became the first national scenic trail. One interesting thing is the trail length changes every year due to rerouting to protect the environment. The trail that we're walking on now is 99% different from the trail that Earl Schaefer took back in the 1950s. Anyways, thanks for watching. Sorry for tricking you into watching this, but hopefully you enjoyed a little bit about it. This is the end of day 2 for me. I'm gonna go back to camp. I'm already set up, and have some dinner and wind down. Been starting kind of slower than I thought I would. Did the approach yesterday, and then I only ended up at Hawk Shelter today, which is just 8.1. I'm positive that I could have gone further, but I'm going to ease my way into this, which is actually really difficult for me, because typically I would just keep going and just deal with whatever blisters, body aches, etc. But I'm trying to be smarter about this. Definitely a marathon and not a sprint. Anyways.